These are the ways to get high in Warhammer 40k. Number 5. Obscura. If you ever wondered what heroin looks like in a galaxy-spanning empire, congratulations! It looks exactly the same, just with more Latin. Obscura is the Imperium's most widespread illegal narcotic. The Imperium is humanity's galactic empire, a million worlds held together by bureaucracy, religion, and violence. And across every single one of those worlds, someone is smoking Obscura in a back room right now. It's an opioid-type substance. You can smoke it through water pipes and dens, inhale it, inject it, or slap it on a dermal patch. However you take it, the high lasts about 5 hours. Warm, dreamlike euphoria, blurred reality, everything feels soft and far away, like the galaxy's finally leaving you alone for a minute. Heavy users develop a specific look the locals call obscura-eyed, which is, yeah, exactly what it sounds like. Vacant, slack-jawed, walking through the world like it's happening to someone else. Now the crash? That's where it gets you. When the high wears off, you get up to 10 hours of crushing depression, so you dose again, and now you're an addict in a society that genuinely does not view addiction as a medical problem. To the Imperium, you're a productivity loss, because see, they don't actually ban Obscura because they care about your well-being. They ban it because addicts stop showing up to work, and when enough workers stop showing up, the planet can't meet its tithe. That's the tax every world owes in resources and manpower, and failing your tithe gets your entire planet flagged for correction. We're talking military intervention because too many people got high. And here's the beautiful part. Battlefield medics reportedly carry refined variants of the same compound as painkillers for wounded soldiers. So the same empire that will put a bullet in your skull for smoking Obscura also injects a cleaned up version of it into dying guardsmen. The line between illegal narcotic and standard issue field medicine is literally just who's holding the syringe. Number 4. Spook. Like rage drugs and opioids, we've seen those. Spook is where the 41st millennium just goes completely off the rails. Spook starts as a lurid green powder found at the deepest underhives of Necromunda, a hive world which is basically a planet buried under stacked city towers and factories that never stop running. The powder gets dissolved into liquid and drunk. Spook is the most prescribed substance in the entire Imperium. Getting caught with it earns an instant bolt round to the head from the nearest commissar. That's a military officer whose whole job is executing people for disobedience. No trial, no appeal, just done. And people still buy it. Because what Spook does is grant the user temporary psychic powers. Telekinesis, pyrokinesis, precognition. For a few minutes, a regular human being, someone with zero psychic ability, can move objects with their mind, see the future, or set things on fire by thinking about it. That's an insane sales pitch. The rush is apparently so seductive that users will repeatedly risk summary execution just for another dose. The downside is, well, catastrophic. The warp, the alternate dimension that psychic energy comes from, is absolutely crawling with demons, malevolent entities that hunt psychic signatures like sharks following blood. Using Spook without psychic training is basically lighting a flare in the middle of that ocean. Users risk demonic possession, permanent insanity, or having their soul ripped clean out of their body. Necromunda's tabletop rules are pretty blunt about it. Roll badly enough and your fighter is permanently insane. No recovery option, just gone. But honestly, the production method is the real hook here. Spook is made from decayed synth diet, which is recycled food paste from the deepest underhive layers, and this paste, it contains centuries upon centuries of recycled human protein, because the Imperium recycles its dead into food called corpse starch. Over millennia, mutant fungi metabolize this ancient corpse slurry, and the residual human soul essence trapped in the protein is theorized to be why the powder has psychic effects at all. Let me say that again. You're drinking fermented mutant fungus grown on a 1,000-year-old pile of recycled dead people. And the cartel running the off-world trade, secretly controlled by House Helmar, Necromunda's own ruling family. The people who ban it are the ones selling it. Number 3. Splintermind. If Spook is drinking corpse fungus, Splintermind is snoring someone else's entire afterlife. Splintermind is a combat drug used by the Drukhari, a faction of sadistic alien elves who live in Komorog, a city hidden inside a pocket dimension called the Webway. Specifically, Splintermind is popular with the witch cults, arena fighting organizations where gladiators perform elaborate combat displays for paying audiences. Witches doze before fights for the competitive edge, but Drukhari combat drugs in general are also fashion items in Komorog, used and traded throughout their society despite drastically shortening the user's lifespan. Splintermind is the prestige option. It's not just a pre-fight injection, it's a status drug, the kind of thing you take because of what's in it, not just what it does for you. What it does is fragment your cognition. The user perceives a battle from multiple mental viewpoints simultaneously. near prescient calm, tactical clarity so complete it blurs into something that feels divine. You don't just react faster, you experience the fight from angles that shouldn't exist, like your consciousness split into several copies, and each one is watching from a different position. Now, here's what it's made from, and yeah, this is the part. The Drukhari have estranged cousins called the Craft World Eldari, who live on giant world ships and follow strict spiritual disciplines. Both groups share the same problem, a chaos god called Slanesh, the god of excess who was accidentally created by the Eldari species, and now hunts their souls. When a Craft World Eldari dies, their soul gets preserved in a spirit stone, a psychic crystal worn on their chest. The stone catches the soul at death and keeps it safe from Slanesh. Without one, the soul gets devoured for eternity. These stones are literally the only thing standing between an Eldari and eternal damnation. The Drukhari murder Craft World Farseers, their most powerful psychers, rip the spirit stones from their corpses and grind the crystals into a fine, psychoactive powder. Then they snort it. Every single dose of Splinter Mine is a pulverized Eldari soul, a consciousness that was supposed to be preserved forever, kept safe from a god that wants to eat it. Instead gets inhaled through a witch's nostril for a tactical advantage in an arena fight she's doing for entertainment. And when the powder is gone, that soul is gone, permanently erased from existence so someone could see a sword swing coming a half-second earlier. The Drukhari have been doing this for 10,000 years, and nobody in Komorra even considers it controversial. It's just a pre-game ritual. Number 2. Fenrisian Ale. In a galaxy where every substance either melts your brain, eats your soul, or makes you explode, there's exactly one way to get high that's genuinely just a good time, and of course, the Space Wolves are the ones who found it. Space Marines are genetically engineered superhuman warriors. One of the 19 organs implanted during their creation is the Ulitic Kidney, a filter that neutralizes virtually any poison or toxin that enters the bloodstream, which means a Space Marine under normal circumstances literally cannot get drunk. Alcohol hits the stomach, the kidney scrubs it out, nothing happens. 10,000 years of galactic warfare, and you can't even enjoy a beer after. Brutal. The Space Wolves, a Space Marine legion from the ice world called Fenris, figured out a workaround. Fenrisian Ale, sometimes called Mjot, is brewed with a native root toxin that temporarily disables the Ulitic Kidney. With the filter switched off, the alcohol actually reaches the brain. For the first time since implantation, a transhuman demigod who can punch through tank armor gets to feel a buzz. That's it. That's the whole drug. They hack their own biology to feel drunk again. The downside, and there's always a downside, is that with the kidney offline, a Space Wolf becomes temporarily vulnerable to actual poisons. The Inquisition, the Imperium's secret police, has reportedly noted this and built assassination protocols around it. But the Space Wolves genuinely do not care. Their Primarch Leman Russ, the genetically engineered warlord who founded the Legion, challenged the Emperor of Mankind himself to a drinking contest on first meeting. He won. They drink it at victory feasts where entire great companies gather in the Fang, their fortress monastery carved into a mountain, and toast the fallen until the barrels run dry. No soul death, no skull-cracking parasites, no exploding corpses, just a bunch of 8-foot-tall warriors getting hammered on wolf beer while telling stories about the friends who didn't make it back. Honestly, kinda beautiful. Enjoy it, because the last entry on this list is going to make you wish you stopped here. Number 1. Acrotic Slime. And finally, the single most unhinged way to get high in the entire setting, you buy a living brain-eating amoeba. You put it on your head, on purpose, for fun. Acrotic Slime is a transparent parasitic organism found in the bad zones of Necromunda's deepest underhive. It's a gelatinous blob about the size of a fist that naturally hunts sleeping people in the dark. When it finds a host, it absorbs through the scalp via osmosis and begins releasing psychochemical stimulants directly into the brain's nervous system. The high is apparently profound. Euphoria, a sense of superhuman power. The world suddenly makes sense in a way it never has before. But the real trick here is evolutionary. The slime stimulants don't just make you feel good, they chemically hijack your neurochemistry so that you actively refuse removal. You don't want to take it off, it feels too good. Your own brain is being reprogrammed, in real time, to protect the thing that is eating it. That's the organism's survival strategy, make the host love being consumed. After a couple of hours, the slime begins to insist, forming a hard protective shell inside your skull. Once it insists, removing it requires major brain surgery, and what the amoeba does next is reproduce. It divides into millions of offspring inside your cranium. Each one feeds on your neural matter. You go from euphoric to confused to catatonic, in that order. And then, when the collective mass of the offspring outgrows the space available, your skull cracks open from the inside. The pressure just splits it, and the mature parasites crawl out to find new hosts. Yes, people do this to themselves. On purpose. The wealthy Hivespire elites do this recreationally. They place the slime on their heads, ride the high, and have a friend on standby with up-to-date anti-parasitic drugs to peel it off before encystment kicks in. It's a party trick, a flex. The Underhive version uses expired, diluted black market antiparasitics, and resistant strains have evolved that don't respond to the cheap stuff anymore. Necromunda's tabletop rules don't sugarcoat this either. Fail the roll and the slime insists, your skull cracks open, fighter permanently dead, no saves. The rich do it because the high is apparently that good. The poor do it because life in the Underhive is brutal enough that risking skull-cracking brain parasites feels like an improvement over just being awake down there. Some gangs farm the slime in bad zone pits and sell it at markup, and the slime doesn't care who you are, rich or poor, spire or sump, it just wants a skull. Well, that's the list. 5 ways to get high in the 41st millennium, from future heroin all the way down to voluntarily putting a brain parasite on your head for fun.